Hello and welcome to Fix the Space Time. In today's video we have an interview with Carl and Curtis, the creators of StarshipShuffle. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Thank you so much for coming on here for an interview. Can you tell everyone a bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having us, Felix. My name's Curtis. This is my brother, Kyle. And we're Canadian, and we're really excited to talk with you about our SpaceX-inspired board game we made today called Starship Shuffle. And yeah, I'm 35 years old. Actually, I'm 36. And
yeah, I'm 33. I've got a wife and a little 2-year-old. I'm a teacher. Used to be an engineer, which I'll chat about probably in a bit, but I'm currently a math and physics teacher, high school teacher.
Yep, and so Kyle's from the west coast of Canada in British Columbia, and I live with my family, my wife, and 2 little kids out in central Canada, capital of Canada, actually Ottawa. And I also come from an engineering background, and I'm also a high school teacher. So yeah, that's who we are.
Brilliant. It's lovely to meet you both. How did you get interested in space and spaceflight?
Sure. Well, I'm the oldest of the 2 brothers, so I kind of got into this stuff first, growing up with a dad who was a pilot, watching Star Trek all the time. Really loved getting into the technical nature of like having all these technical posters of aircraft all over our house, and going through high school really did well in math and science. So it was natural to go into engineering. So I went into aerospace engineering, and then Kyle followed after me actually, and also went into aerospace engineering. And then towards the end of that, you want to jump in?
Yeah, and then so Curtis did his master's in aerodynamics, and then I didn't do a master's, I just did a bachelor's, and then I worked in heavy maintenance for about 6 or 7 years, designing aircraft structural repairs, so working lots on wings and fuselage and control surfaces, on cracks or corrosion, kind of designing the repairs for those that would get installed on the airplane. So lots of good aerospace experience, not necessarily on rockets, but definitely in the industry. Yeah, but we've both always loved aerospace, and space flight has been a little bit more of just a passion kind of in our off time.
Yeah, I did take though a few different streams in my bachelor's on orbital mechanics and mission design. So I had that early taste of it, which like I've mentioned to you before, Felix. I remember like during my bachelor's, like watching Falcon 1 try to launch for the first time, and just like, wow, that was like before, I don't even think YouTube was out then, or YouTube was just coming out. So I think I watched it on the news, and so thankful that we've got modern YouTubers like you that can continue educating everyone around the world on and watching these launches. It's quite exciting.
But it's been so cool to follow so many YouTubers live stream. We both remember when Falcon 9 first landed vertically on land, and when they first landed on a drone ship and super heavy launching. It was just so
Falcon Heavy.
Sorry, Falcon Heavy. When it first launched, and it was just so exciting to watch these live streamed events by awesome YouTubers, so many different ones, and really just kind of getting caught up in this inspiring space exploration time that we live in. So we definitely caught the bug, and mostly we have YouTubers to thank for that.
Oh yeah, well, and now we're just sharing stories. Like I also remember like watching Spaceship One launch live, both times for the X Prize, and I remember watching as can't remember who was piloted, Mike, and just like watching it spiral out of control live. And I'm like, that was like my first live space flight I had watched. I saw a shuttle launch in person later on, but I was just like, this is wild to watch. Just on a screen, a live launch. And how many live launches have we watched now? Like 100 since YouTube has enabled us. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, lots of engineering then. Can you tell me a bit about what Starship Shuffle is?
Yeah, Starship Shuffle is a collaborative board game with a SpaceX theme to it. So we're really inspired by Starship and everything that's happening in Boca Chica, everything that's been covered with YouTubers like you over the last year or two. And it really kind of started when we saw SN8 launch and not land. And we're like, whoa, what a crazy event. It reminds me of like back when I was watching the Falcon 1 try to launch, and we're like, we want to like be able to remember this. And we're like, let's turn this into a game, and we just started thinking about all these different cards that you can put into the game that like were reflective of like stacking all the different parts of Starship, the launch process, all the different testing you can do, like static fires and cryoproofs, and all the different people that are involved, referencing Elon, referencing like a lot of the YouTubers that have helped along the way with sharing this story. And we really just wanted to capture that in like a box that people can hold, because people can like access so much digital content online, but like other than like t-shirts and mugs, like it's really quite limited, like the amount of stuff that you can get that's like can like help you like remember this period, like.
Yeah, it was actually last holiday season, like a year ago, I was getting Curtis, I wanted to get him something SpaceX related for Christmas. And basically all I ended up getting him was a coffee mug. And so I was like, there's got to be something more. So we ended up creating this game. And then so, yeah, it just comes in a box, there's instructions that fold out. It's been amazingly graphically designed. And then there's 2 decks of cards. So it's 108 cards, but really it has the feel when you lay it all out and you're working together as a team. You're basically building. I'll just show it up here. So this is like a blueprint card. You're building with a team a Starship rocket, and then so there's different components to the Starship rocket. Obviously, there's like a nose cone, so you're stacking the nose cone, with some barrel sections. Eventually, you attach, some engines to your rocket, and then after you build Starship and you build Super Heavy, along the way you develop them, and then you get to launch it at the end. And just kind of like SN8 and SN9 and 10 and 11, they might be successful and they might explode. And so you really get to kind of participate in that.
And just to highlight some of the cool things that happen in the game, because it all started with just like stacking starships. Actually, we got a lot of inspiration from Brendan Lewis, who like posts his like basically weekly production updates of showing like the stacking process for everything. And so
we would see, there's SN8's been complete, but SN9, there's a handful of barrel sections, but there's a couple more Raptors have been spotted.
Yeah.
So
people are spying. You got like Mary down there, Boca Chica gal, and she's like taking photographs of like there's a fin or a grid fin just showed up, and so we just picture like all these cards. It's a tabletop game. This is so like all these cards are out and you're trying to like figure out where the cards go, and like it's the production yard. And so that's kind of where we're going to start. But like there's so much more other than Starship happening. You've got all the hardware from like the Boston Dynamics robots walking around there, to like all the robotic welders, to all the star bricks, the hex tiles. There's so many different components other than stacking starships. So we really wanted to highlight that in the game.
Yeah, and as they'd be building, they'd also be doing things like testing. So you'd have like a cryo test.
Yeah, definitely. So we got like cards and the artwork is just fantastic. Our graphics team did a great job on that. You got like cryo proof. You got like key events like when SN9 fell over in the high bay. So there's good things and bad things that can happen during the game. You actually have to build the high bay itself in order to finish stacking Super Heavy all the way. The mid bay's in there too, obviously. And then we got like favorites, like right from the very beginning. Like we knew that Tankzilla was this like some of the photographs that people have posted online are just like so beautiful, and like they like burn into our mind. Like we got to get Tankzilla. Mm-hmm. Like we wanted it like on the box, like that was like second place. Starship, then Tankzilla. And Tankzilla isn't even around anymore. It's so sad. But
so basically in this box is 2 years of Starship development history that really captures a lot of the key moments that you get to play, which is super fun.
Yeah. And Felix, there's tons of YouTubers out there that have helped share the story. And we really wanted to kind of like integrate that into this as well, because it's not just about what SpaceX is doing, it's what the space community is doing.
Like I remember discovering who Tim Dodd was, or Marcus House, or Felix, or Kevin, or Scott Manley, and then just starting to hear I was getting so excited, and then sharing that with my grade 11 physics students, because of what these YouTubers have done. So in the same way they inspired me, we kind of wanted to capture that a little bit in the game.
Yeah, so we've made sure to include all those that cast of characters basically in the game, so it's really interesting that like real people that you've interviewed are actually now in the game itself. We wanted to honor them and kind of show that they're part of this story too. And it's been really cool. Like we would actually, we mailed early copies of the game before it was out for production to all of them, just so they could see the game and give us feedback and stuff. And it's really funny when they're like, I really think you should tweak this, or can you add this to the game? So just getting that really authentic feedback. And we had input as well from a couple others that did like promo cards for the game. So we had like Tony Bella made this really cool super heavy booster with like alternative designs that aren't found on the real booster. And then Daily Hopper Ulrich, he helped design this really cool, like fantastic version of Starship that took all the junky pieces that never flew. Like if you look closely, it's like the HLS nose cone. It's got MK1 fins. It's got
part of serial number 5 on
SM5 as like side boosters, like SM5 and 6. It's got Starhopper on there, obviously.
And it's shooting rainbows.
It's shooting rainbows held together by duct tape. It's just hilarious. So there's tons of humor in the game.
Yeah, that's so it's a just like with all the YouTube channels, there's a lot of fun built into the YouTube channels. And so we wanted this game to not just capture the Starship story, but we also wanted it to be a fun thing where, either from 1 up to, 5 people can gather around a table, perhaps on a launch day, and say, hey, let's play a game while we're waiting, for the countless countdowns which are about to come, and how many times is it going to hit 0 before it actually launches.
Yeah, or it scrubs.
So now they've got something super fun that people can do while they're waiting. So yeah, so that's a little bit about Starship Shuffle. It's a board game that people work together to build, develop, and launch Starship rockets.
All right, okay. Sounds like a brilliant game. When did you start creating Starship Shuffle?
Yeah, so we kind of alluded to it before, where I, was looking for a gift for Curtis for Christmas. All I could basically find was maybe a t-shirt or a coffee mug. So basically last Christmas, so 1 year ago, we had this idea of, watching Brendan Lewis and lots of other people on Twitter and YouTube that, we started laying out cards. And then, so that was at Christmas. And then we said, hey, I think we have a game here. And, I think there's a market. I think people would want something more where they can participate more in the story. So kind of around January, February, March, we started to, I remember we had preliminary 1.0. That was our first kind of attempt at the game. And then, okay, that mechanic's not going to work. 1.1, try a new mechanic. Okay, that will maybe work, but let's change it. 1.2. So went through about 15 iterations of the game to actually come up with a game where you could build, develop, and launch these rockets. So that basically took us until the spring.
Yeah, and like we're even like implementing like SpaceX design principles, like we're failing forward. It's like, let's just create the prototype and send it to people and see what they think. And it's going to suck probably, but at least we now know, and we can iterate quicker, just like the Starship program.
Yeah. And then we hired an amazing graphics team, and they did amazing graphic design and illustration last spring. Sent it out to some YouTubers in the summer, and then we did a Kickstarter in the fall, which we ended up almost tripling our goal. So we raised about
a decent amount
of money for sure.
Enough to cover the production of all the games for everyone who backed it, which was great.
Yeah, and then we manufactured it in Orlando. It was really important to us to have it manufactured in the USA, because so much of the space program and all of what SpaceX is doing is really, coming from the US. So,
and what's actually kind of ironic is that the game is produced in Florida, so Space Coast, and then it's distributed through Texas. So all the games are sent through Texas, where Starship is made, so we kind of got to draw on those two heritages.
Yeah. And then so manufacturing of the initial copies of this game was just completed about a month ago, and then they've now been shipped out. So as of yesterday, they've all been shipped out to the original group, which the Kickstarter was really successful. So there's been tons and tons of people that have bought the game already, and the initial feedback we've gotten over Twitter has been super positive, and people are having a good time. playing the game, really enjoying the artwork. So yeah, so it's in the hands of our original Kickstarter backers right now, most of them. Which
it's really it's really weird to think of something that was just an idea less than a year ago is now like in the hands of people, and they're playing it and they're having fun. You're like, we're really happy that it's been successful, and that we hope that other people get really inspired and get excited for what's going to happen with space to come.
Totally.
All right, okay, that's brilliant. What are your plans for the future?
Ooh, well, that's top secret, Felix. We can't reveal all the secrets. Yeah, our main goal right now is to make sure everyone's really happy with Starship Shuffle. We really want to make sure the rollout to everyone who bought the game to start was really smooth, keep that community building strong. How do you think that's gone so far?
Yeah, the initial feed, like definitely, as with any business that starts up, there's been challenges and opportunities that we've been able to learn from. So kind of making sure the initial customers are happy and getting lots of feedback from them. And then using that feedback that we gather kind of over the last couple months and in the next few months to really launch us forward. But there's so much that SpaceX is doing. If you can picture what their plan is for the next 10 years, well, we basically want to capture that.
We want to keep capturing that. So like you can if you look at the game, basically you can tell like the main design of the game kind of ended during the summer. So basically everything that happened since summer 2021, those are the things that are missing from the game. And so we want to figure out a way to bring that into whatever comes next. We made some last changes, and we included like when Ship 20 and Booster 4, when they launch in January, hopefully, like they'll do a soft water splashdown, so we made sure we managed to tweak the game at the very last second to include that for your launch.
Even things like, originally Super Heavy's grid fins were supposed to be folded down. And then, by the time we had started the Kickstarter, we said, oh, well, Elon just announced that Super Heavy grid fins are going to be permanently fixed out. So we, quickly kind of made the game, but we can only change the game so much by the time we go to print it. So we want to kind of capture a lot of what's happened since summer, and then obviously going forward.
One thing I know for sure is not in the game is there is no reference to Mechazilla in the game at all.
Yeah.
There's no chopsticks. There's no QD arm. There's like no fuel farm, nothing like that. So you can kind of just like piece together like what you might imagine might be coming next. But you can see like the board game company we made is called A Games, it's plural. So we have to make at least 2 games. Yeah. We only made 1. Yeah. That's what we got kind of coming down the pipe eventually.
All right, okay. That's all the questions I've got for you today. Thank you so much for coming on here for an interview. It's been brilliant talking to you.
You're welcome, Felix.
Felix, we've really enjoyed watching your channel, and we look forward to more interviews that you've got in the future. So thanks for having us on.
Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Oh, now Felix, I'm not letting you get away that easily. I've got a question for you. I know you're a Lost in Space fan, so I want to ask you a question on Lost in Space. Favorite moment from all 3 seasons? Can't hear you.
From each season?
No. Just from the whole series. Just like if you could pick one moment from the entire series, what was your favorite moment?
This will be a spoiler for some people. When they first got to Alpha Centauri and it was just over and they were there, and it was just that was a brilliant moment of all of the series.
Yeah. Really? Oh wow! All the way to the end of that was basically the end of it. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, it's an awesome show. Kyle's actually never watched it, so surprise!
Check it out.
And you just got it spoiled by Felix. So they made it to Alpha Centauri.
Yeah, cool.
But it's really cool that there's all this stuff in the space community that we can be connected with and share on YouTube and Twitter. So it's really cool to know you're out there, Felix, getting people excited for this and not just making it like the stuff you like share on Twitter. It's not just about like your interviews. You're sharing a lot of your personal interests. You're doing these like cool little Christmas contests and stuff like that. So you're doing a really good job. Keep it up. I'm excited to see where you're gonna go.
I'm inspired by you, Felix, and I know my students are as well. So keep up the great work.
Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Merry Christmas, Felix.
See you later. Okay.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe and check out my Patreon page. There'll be a link in the description. Bye.